bestie, it's Bree, your number one fan, and you're listening to the PhD Mommy's Journey podcast. More people than ever seem to be suffering from emotional pain and trauma. They seem to lose hope in life. This podcast is here to help you heal from your past experiences and begin to have a better human experience. Most importantly, I'm here to help you feel better during stressful times. Today's episode, Where Next, concludes the last chapter of the book, Un-F Yourself, Get Out of Your Head and Into Your Life by Gary John Bishop. So as I was writing this episode, it took me a really long time to actually understand what it means to get out of your head. Now, because my goal is to help you successfully navigate your human experience, I want to make sure that you have the most accurate and effective information. So the researcher in me, us researchers, we love to plan. We do a lot of thinking. We do a lot of pondering, observing, planning, organizing, collecting, analyzing, concluding, repeating, sharing, communicating. We do it all. I think it's kind of safe to say that researchers, they're kind of like overthinkers. I mean, hey, it's part of the job, right? So if you're an overthinker like me, I'm sure you would agree by saying it's really easy to get stuck inside of your head, right? I mean, it's cool thinking about yourself, but the truth is we probably think a lot negative more than positive about ourselves, right? Or is that just me? Now, don't get me wrong. You're probably thinking, do I have some type of mental issue if I stay in my head a lot? Or you might even wonder, goodness, why do I live in my head so much? Okay, so the educator and researcher in me always thinks it's important that you need to first understand what it means to be in your head. So when you live in your head, you're basically daydreaming. You have taken a bystander position and you started to watch your life unfold in front of you. It's like watching a movie. Don't believe me? How many times have you zoned out? How many times have you been disengaged? I mean, let's examine your past relationships. Ever been asked, are you even listening? If so, you live in your head. Don't worry. Welcome to the Overthinkers Anonymous Club. You are not alone. What if he doesn't like me? Oh my gosh, what if I fall while walking down the stairs? Or worse, what if I never get out of this current situation? Sound familiar? Here's the thing. When you constantly stay and live in your head, you become controlled. It prevents you from reaching your true and full potential. You allow the governor of your mind to set a limit as to what you can do. So things like your tasks going incompleted, or worse, you never even get started. You're inconsistent, you're unreliable, and the list continues to go on. What I love about the last chapter is how it answers the burning question of how can I start enjoying my life and being happy? It truly, truly answers how to get out of your mind and into your life. It's this simple. In order to improve your internal world, you have to start by taking action in the external world. Get out of your mind and get into your life. Page 218. How simple. To get out of your mind and get into your life, you must simply get out of your mind and get into your life. If you want to enjoy life, you need to pick the destination and you need to just start walking into the light. But which way is correct? Where exactly is the light? Is it this way? Is it that way? Let me ask you something. How many times a day are you arguing with yourself? In case you're having trouble understanding my question, I'll ask it another way. How many times a day do you constantly find yourself battling yourself? You're constantly battling your inner thoughts. You're constantly negotiating on why you should or should not do certain things. Aristotle said, the energy of the mind is the essence of life. In other words, the energy of your mind is the essence, the most important, of life. What is energy and why is energy important? Energy is found in everything we eat, consume, or use. Energy fuels and regulates our body's natural internal functions. In everyday language, energy is the idea of vigor, power, activity, vitality, and zest. However, in the scientific field, we simply know energy as the ability of a system to do work. Now, work is the transfer or the movement of energy that is involved wherever some type of object moves over a distance by an external force. Sounds like a mouthful? It is. Now, there are two different types of energy. You have kinetic energy and potential energy. Both of these types of energy are important because they can cause real change in real activity in the material world, the world that we see. Kinetic energy is a type of energy an object will have due to its motion. Potential energy is the opposite. It's going to be the energy that is actually stored. This type of energy only exists due to its properties, position, and potential. Here's an example. Let's say that I had a boulder at the edge of a cliff. The boulder is just sitting there and it's not moving. That boulder is said to have potential energy. Now, let's say some type of external force causes the boulder to fall off the cliff. That potential energy has now been converted into kinetic energy. Energy is vital to all of life's processes. Harold Marowitz, a biophysicist, stated that the flow of energy through a system acts to organize that system. However, energy is rarely spoken on in the field of neurobiology, psychology, physiology, and philosophy of the mind. One interesting recent neuroscientific evidence suggested that consciousness, the part where we're thinking, is a product or result based on how our brain organizes energy. Okay, so what does energy have to do with my mind? I'm so glad you asked. It's important to understand that as human beings, we are composed of three parts. We are composed of our mind, our body, and our spirit. Now, we all know that our body needs energy. We know that we get our energy from the foods that we eat, when we exercise, when we sleep, and when we do a whole bunch of other stuff. The mind is a little different. Your mind is subjective, but it plays an important role in the two-way stream of the mind and body connection. Now, the mind and body are connected, and they're also dependent on one another. Energy is transformed from one form to another. That allows information to be connected to the cells, and that creates some type of energizing and illuminating stream of feelings and emotions. It also creates thoughts, ideas, hopes, dreams, and more. The size of the adult human brain weighs about 3 pounds. Despite the small size of the human brain compared to the other body parts, it consumes the most energy, also known as the basal metabolic rate. And this helps us regulate, process, anticipate, and meditate our normal physiological functions. Now, just the simple process of carrying information to and from the brain is so intricate and requires so much energy. I mean, think about the last time you've had to study for a final exam. Did you get hungry? I know I did. Whataburger, patty melt, large fries, blue Powerade, hold the ice. If you ever have been asked to complete some type of difficult thinking task, then you probably have experienced a lot of hunger. But why? Why do you get hungry when you're studying or when you're thinking? One answer, glucose. Glucose is found in the foods that we eat, and it's used in a process known as cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is a nice little long, in-depth process that basically allows you to live and produces energy in the form of ATP. Glucose is a fuel to your brain's neurons. In simple terms, a busy brain means a hungry body. Your brain has a very limited storage capacity for energy. Think how small your brain is. While your brain is activated and is thinking, it senses that it will be depleted soon. So what happens? Your brain starts to send out signals to feed it very, very soon. The problem? This energy is not physical. In fact, this process is the very sole reason why many college students gain their freshman 15, sometimes 30. Our brain's energy activities build the foundation to our human behaviors. The flow of our energy shapes our social behaviors. Think about someone who gets hangry a lot. Think of them after they eat. Different person, right? Snickers was onto something. The brain operates according to the principle of information processing. Our brains are information processing machines. Our brains manipulate information. But what exactly is information, and how does it even impact my life? I'm so glad you asked. You see, information is a fundamental part of nature. According to the information theory by Claude Shannon, information is the amount of uncertainty in a message. Messages are also known as sequence of data, and they are measured through probability based on their elements. Another researcher described information as a form of in-cause effect space. Information is not a physical property of our brains. However, information is a crucial part of understanding your mind. Understanding the difference between your brain and your mind can actually help you develop a more mental toughness and capacity to achieve your goals in life. Though the mind is separate from the brain, it's also inseparable. Our brains respond to our mind. Our mind uses our brains. In fact, our mind also changes the brain. But why? Why is the mind so important and powerful that it needs to be controlled just to achieve my dreams? Here's why. Your mind is energy, and it also creates energy through how you think. It also creates energy through how you feel and how you choose to do things. We are our minds. We can generate energy in the brain through our minds working in action. Here's the best way that I try to explain it. So it all starts with a thought. A thought is real. It's a mental cognition, including ideas, opinions, beliefs, and perceptions about us and the world we live in. Thoughts are located in our cells. Remember, cells, they are the basic unit of all living things. Thoughts are also located in our brains and in our minds. Our thoughts contain energy. Think about a brick. That brick, which is going to be the energy, is used to build your mind. It alters your brain, which ultimately affects your life. The way how you use that brick will determine if you either build a strong brick house or if you will use those bricks in your life to destroy other homes. Don't believe me? Think about all the things that have happened in this world. September 11th, World War II, crisis going on in Ukraine. Everything started with a thought. Thoughts are mental cognitions. They include the perspectives we bring to any situation or experience. Our thoughts are responsible for coloring our point of view. It can color it for better, for worse, or for neutral. Perception is your reality. Everything you see or hear or experience in any way at all is specific to you. You create a universe by perceiving it. So everything in the universe you perceive is specific to you. Douglas Adams. Think about your life right now. How is it? You enjoy the direction you're headed? If you're anything like me, you probably have felt broken once or twice in your life. You've probably felt discouraged, helpless, anxious, scared. I'm here to tell you something. Get out of your head and get into your life. Humans have about 70,000 thoughts a day. How many of those thoughts are a constant battle between you and yourself? Many of you all continue to sell yourself short. You've allowed your story to be told by other people, many of whom don't even know you. Think about your life and those who occupy it. Do you like your current relationship? Do you like hanging around those who are next to you? A lot of us continue to be programmed just to accept things that we don't even like. I mean, how many people work at jobs they hate? How many people stay in relationships they don't even want to be in? People continue to live a boring, unfulfilled life without any type of passion. Here's a moment of truth. Who are you? What do you believe in? Who do you want to be? What exactly do you want? Think of yourself as a plant. The things you receive impact what you give off. The roots determine the fruits. What's watering your roots? Is it uplifting and encouraging information? Or is it information that is negative and constantly puts you down? What type of fruits are being produced? Are they fruitful and beautiful? Or are they fruitless and vain? Being in a place where you feel stuck, where you constantly go and go without any results, is a very dangerous place to be in. How many times have you told yourself, once I read more about working out, I'll start working out. Once I get over my fear of dating, I'll start dating. Does that even make sense? No. It's just an excuse and blanketed statement your mind makes to keep you safe and make you think you are a rational and smart person in your decision-making process. Here's the problem. You are actually a terrible decision maker. It's about the process, which is the decision maker. It's about what you do. Now, don't get me wrong, you do not have to be perfect. You just have to simply make better decisions every day. It's the process, the decisions, that shapes you and forms you into the person that you want to become. You will never get things done when you feel like it. You will never become successful by waiting until you feel ready. No one cares about your problems because they're too worried about their own. No one is going to cry your tears because they're too busy crying their own tears. Listen, it's you against you. You can have all the knowledge in the world. You can have all the degrees in the world. But if you don't do anything with it to actually, and I mean actually produce results, that knowledge doesn't even matter. What is your reason? Why do you do what you do? What is your purpose? Do you even know your purpose? A lot of people, they like to pretend and lie to themselves. They like to constantly deny and believe that they know who they are. Here's one thing we know: death. If I take death into my life, acknowledge it, and face it squarely, I will free myself from the anxiety of death and the pettiness of life. And only then will I be free to become myself. Martin Heidegger. Heidegger's teachings and philosophy of life can be used to better understand life's true meaning. It allows us to have a more purposeful and sense of fulfillment. His first principle states that as humans, we have forgotten to notice that we are alive. We allow life to throw us into this whirlwind of a series of events in life that we always lose. I mean, many people forget the importance of the human experience. However, once someone begins to become aware of their experiences, they start to question things. They wonder, what is my purpose? What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? What have I been called to do? Here's a harsh fact. We are all going to die. We are mortal. We're not immortal. Death is coming. It's something that is inescapable. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter your economic status. Nothing. Sure, many people would love to live a life that allows them to grow old and live forever. The truth is, that's not always the case because one day it will end. It could be tomorrow. It could be 2 hours from now. It could be next week, 7 years, 70 years. You simply cannot determine that day when, where, and why you will no longer exist. Are you guilty of having knowledge in so many areas but never actually applying that knowledge? Imagine if today was your last day. What would you do? Who would you reach out to? How would you live your last day? Would you be proud? Many people never reach their full potential because they limit themselves. They're addicted to comfort. They like to have this victim mentality and use their problems as to why they can't do X, Y, Z. Let's try something different. I mean, that's when you can really start living. I know. You did a lot of bad things in your past. Lots of people have. Stop focusing on your past. That's not you anymore. That's who you were, but you're not defined by your past. You're defined by your current state, here and now. That's the beauty of God's renewal. Your mind, your body, your soul, they've all become cleansed. You've become a new person. You've received a new lease on life. I understand. Your past, it may be horrific. That's okay. You're here today, so it doesn't even matter anymore. Accept your past and own it. Understand the lessons you've learned from your past and simply move on. Just because your past is painful doesn't mean it's permanent. In fact, your past prepares you for your purpose. Think about all the great people you've heard of. Gandhi, Oprah, Nelson Mandela, just to name a few. They've all gone through some pretty tough times. You want to know how? They kept moving forward. That's the difference between those who are successful and those who are not. Those who are successful do not stop. They don't wait. They don't ponder. They don't think. They don't anticipate. They just go. They learn along the way and they step out of their comfort zone. Now, I understand. Stepping out of your comfort zone is hard. It's easier said than done. Otherwise, how many people would have done it already? Exactly. However, I promise you, if you just step out of your comfort zone, just an inch, you will begin to experience a different world. Something simple such as saying hello to a stranger, trying a new restaurant. When you step outside of your comfort zone, that is when you begin to truly find your real self. Our true selves take ownership and responsibility in the choices we have made. We accept our past. We accept our failures and our mistakes. By accepting ourselves, we can get rid of this victim mentality. We can stop being a volunteer victim and blame things around us all the time. Instead, we can be a victor. We can use our past as our fuel. You may not like your past, but guess what? It's your past. Own it. Embrace it. What else can you do? Cry? Yeah, but it's still there. No one is going to save you. No one is going to cry your tears for you. Instead of doing nothing, do something. Take that bold faith. Take the courage to step out of your comfort zone. Life is not what happens to you. Instead, it is who you become and how you respond that determines your life. Step out of your comfort zone. Become the person you know you want to become. You know you are meant to be and to do better. You know that you are bigger than your current situation. Stop doing what you're doing right now. Stop self-sabotaging yourself. Stop letting all of your goals go down to the drain. You're not going to feel motivated every single day. You will not want to work hard every single day. That's normal. We all experience it. It is a part of the process. On the days where you don't want to do anything, go do that thing. On the days where you don't feel like it, go feel like it. On the days where you feel like you don't want to write, go write. On the days where you feel like you want to give up, don't. Motivation is non-existent. Motivation is not real. It might elevate your mind for a little bit. However, you have to understand, in order to stay consistent, relentless, and finish the rest, motivation is not going to carry you out. You have to be disciplined. You have to stay on the course. You have to start taking the necessary actions to keep moving forward. You know the areas in your life that need to be fixed? Everyone knows where they lack at. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Carl Jung. Who are you? And what do you do? What is your story? Where do you want to go? How can you get there? The moment you begin to discover your passion, that's when you can actually begin to live your life. Here's the thing about passion. Passion is not easy. Passion requires sacrifice. Passion sucks. Passion for what you love requires a never-ending pursuit of excellence. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to do that every single day? Are you willing to pursue a goal of excellence that you may never even actually achieve? You have to understand that life is cyclical. There are always going to be ups and downs. To be successful, success is not some horrible feat, but it's also no easy feat. It's not a perfect feat. There's going to be some times where life is going to suck. Life is going to be hard. That's the beauty of the process. The process shapes you. The process molds you. The process is a continuous losing streak. During this process, you learn more about yourself because it becomes you versus you. This is not some fad. It's not a hashtag with some random meeting. This is a lifestyle. This is an obsession. This is how some of us are hardwired and programmed. Just as there are lows, there are also highs. You will have great days. You will also have bad days. It's a part of the process. There are going to be days where you don't feel like it. There are going to be days where you do not want to do anything. Don't give in to that feeling. Remember, life has a cyclical nature. Okay, I understand. Yesterday was tough. Today doesn't have to be. You will get discouraged. You will feel down. You will want to give up. That's normal. Here's the thing. That's a weed out process. It weeds out those who want to be successful and those who just kind of want it. Do you want to be successful? Yes or no? If you can get past the hard parts and you are willing to attack again and again and again, do you understand why you want to do what you want to do? Do you understand what you're passionate about? Do you understand the importance of the world experiencing your gift? What if you don't see any results? Are you willing to do it again and again and again? Are you willing to understand that it's a process that makes you great? Every time you go into that dark room and every time you strive to be better every single day, it's not fun. It's you against you. You have to retrain your mind. You have to callous your mind. You have to beat it with the hammer over and over and over again. It's you against you. When things go bad, perfect. Get tougher. Work hard and put the work in every single day. Get out of your head. Make it happen. Be all in or don't be in at all. Most importantly, be yourself. Stop trying to be like everyone else. Don't get comfortable. You need to always be obsessed and hungry. Remember, the process. The process is where you start putting yourself together. Be willing to do whatever it takes. Work hard. Keep hammering at it over and over and over again. Don't stop until you're done. How do you know when you're done? You've created this beautiful masterpiece of yourself, someone whom you are proud to be inside and out. If you want a better life, go all the way in. That's all it takes. That's all it takes between you and those who are successful. Go all the way in. Learn how to control your mind. Be relentless and do whatever it takes. Seize every single opportunity. Be the best version of yourself every single day. All men and women were created equal. Some just work harder. Which one are you? Find out who you are. Go to that dark room. Go to that dark place where you face your fears. When you face the darkness and look into it, you begin to see the light. Keep moving forward towards that light. No matter how slow, no matter how ugly, no matter how long and messy and muddy it takes, if you are willing to do whatever it takes, then just keep moving forward. Keep pushing. Keep crawling. Keep moving forward. Do not stop. Never stop. Rest at the end, not in the middle. Go into the unknown. Enter that new arena in your life. Keep working on yourself. Get better and better and better every single day. To be successful and to win, you need to go through challenges. You need to go through pain. Learn from those challenges. Study those challenges. Examine why you were not successful. Try again and keep following that light. When you start to follow that light, you start to live your life. Here's something I want you to ponder on. If you want to go from below average to a high performer, then do exactly what this book says to do. 1, un-F yourself. 2, get out of your head. 3, get into your life. You owe it to yourself to be the person God has designed you to be. As you continue on this journey and develop a better human experience, always remember, you can enjoy life as long as you're willing to do whatever it takes. Be wired to win. Believe you have the necessary requirements. Embrace the unknown. Stop thinking and start doing. Be relentless. Expect nothing. Accept everything. And lastly, walk into the light. When you change your thoughts, you change your mind. When you change your mind, you change your brain. When you change your brain, you change your perception. When you change your perception, you change your life. You, yes, you are the author and the hero of your story. Just to recap, this episode covers a simple yet challenging principle of getting out of one's own mind and getting into your life. I talked about the power of energy and how it impacts the mind based on our thoughts. I spoke about the brain's energy activities and how it creates the foundation to behavior. The power and energy of your thoughts can be the determining factor between creating peace or destroying the lives of others. Lastly, I talked about the mortality of life, life's tragedy, life's cruel and unusual punishment, death. When you accept death, and when you understand that death is a part of life and that you will experience it, that is when you can actually free your mind. You can rid your mind of anxiety, despair, and fear. Mortality also exposes our comfort zones. By doing what is uncomfortable and expanding outside of that comfort zone, you can start putting the pieces together to win at life. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode all the way through. I hope the insights that I've shared from this amazing book can be used in your own toolbox and that you can apply it to your life. I've created a free guide to jumpstart your goals. Sign up on the newsletter to receive the free guide and start living a more purposeful, fulfilling life. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. To stay up to date with Bree and get all the behind-the-scenes content, you can follow me on Instagram at The PhD Mom Life and on Twitter at A PhD Mommy. Before I close out, I invite you to listen to a motivational clip by my dear friend Chispa Motivation. It's about trusting the process. Remember, the prize is in the process. The process is the only way to get to the prize. It's the hunt. It's the faith. It's the will. It's the relentlessness. It's the winning mindset. It's the chance you take on yourself. Bet on you. You are the hero. You are the victor. Have bold faith. Everything you need is within you. Even when you are afraid, stand straight. Have the courage, the faith, and the belief that God has a destiny just for you. You can be someone important because you were designed to do great things. It doesn't matter about your past. It doesn't matter about what you have or what you don't have. All it matters is that you have faith. You got this. Blaze a new path. This is episode 9, Mindset, How to Enjoy Life. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts and share this episode with your friends. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.
How did you get that mentality of just being like, I need to get over this. Like, I need to get over myself.
Trial and error. You grow up and you make game-winning shots and it's awesome. You come back the next day and miss a game-winning shot and it's misery. And then the next day comes and you're back playing again and you understand that life has this cyclical nature where it's, what you do on Monday, it's fantastic, but then Tuesday is a bad day. But guess what? There's Wednesday. So are we just supposed to live our lives like this the whole time? Versus just staying like this and understanding that it's really just a journey of evolution every day. It's just constant improvement, constant curiosity, constantly getting better. The results don't really matter. It's the figuring out that matters.
I don't even like to use the word happiness. That's just a fleeting feeling. It can just go so up and down. I don't want to chase that feeling. It's just not a efficient way for me to live. I feel like just having peace and really simply just enjoying being alive every day is the best place for me to be. You know, I don't want to be happy and sad. Like, I don't even want to have to go through that. I just want to just kind of float through life. I experience so much. I just want to take on every experience for what it is and enjoy it in the moment, you know? So I don't want to chase happiness, so that I just try to stay even.
The life of a successful person is not glitz and glamour, okay? It's not the glory. It's also not the shit. Some people make it sound like it's shit, like it's horrible, and like it's the worst thing ever. It's not. Are you going to have uncomfortable situations and high levels of stress and tons of situations that are gonna, make you feel bad and make you feel like shit and wear you out and stress you out? Yes, absolutely. You have to understand that there are gonna be times when it's low, it's bad, everything's going wrong, everything's got you stressed, everything's got you mad, everything's got you frustrated. And that could go on for a couple weeks too, even longer. It could go on for months. That's just the life of an entrepreneur. It's the life of an ambitious person. And you have to understand everything is cyclical. You're not gonna win all the time. You're not gonna succeed all the time. You're not gonna have good shit happen all the time. Just like you're not gonna have bad shit continue to happen all the time. There's highs that are super high and there's lows that are super low. And so going through this process of growth, and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're working and you're doing this and doing that and doing this, and you feel like it's not moving. It's important that when you feel low that you continue to execute. It's normal to have highs and lows, and they're always cyclical. You're gonna have days that are great, you're gonna have weeks that are great, you're gonna have days that are bad, you're gonna have weeks that are bad. And I just want you to know that that's normal, because I see so many people quitting, because that's what most people do. They get something, they get excited, they work hard, they do their thing, they do everything they can, and then they're like, it isn't working, and they quit. Or the minute 2 or 3 bad things happen, they quit and they change course. And you just have to learn that when things are frustrating, when things are making you mad, when things are making you feel pissed, when you're getting to the point where you're like saying, dude, that's when you've got to stick it through. That's when you've got to push even harder. That's when you've got to make sure that even at a minimum, you're still executing on the same path that you were when you were winning, because that's what's going to push you through to a breakthrough.